Have you ever noticed how certain people seem to magnetize success? How opportunities, people, and events align perfectly for them, as though the universe itself is conspiring in their favor? What if I told you that this power is not luck but law, a law as precise and dependable as gravity itself? This is the law of attraction. There's a quiet power working in the world today, unseen but ever present, guiding the course of our lives as faithfully as the rising of the sun. It's called the law of attraction, and it begins in the invisible workshop of your mind. Whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become reality. This law is impartial. It does not judge, it does not choose sides. It responds only to the vibration of your thoughts. Like a radio station transmitting a signal, your mind is constantly broadcasting energy into the world. And whatever matches that frequency, it draws back to you. If you dwell on fear, you invite fear. If you dwell on success, you attract success. The universe merely echoes the signal you send out, returning to you what you most consistently and emotionally dwell upon. So the question is not whether the law of attraction works. It is always working. The real question is, what are you attracting? Your life this very moment is a mirror reflecting the thoughts you have habitually entertained. If you wish to know what your future holds, look at what you think about today. For thought is the cause and life the effect. The man who understands this realizes he holds in his hands the power to direct his destiny. To use this law effectively, begin with clarity. Decide precisely what you want. Most people drift through life wishing vaguely for improvement, but the mind cannot attract that which it cannot define. So be definite. Write it down, see it. Feel it. Act as though it were already true, and your subconscious mind will begin to move heaven and earth to make it so. The second step is emotion. Thought without feeling is like an engine without fuel. The heart gives life to the picture the mind creates. When you think about your goal, do so with conviction, gratitude, and expectancy. Imagine the thrill of accomplishment as though it were already yours. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between reality and vivid imagination. It simply obeys the dominant emotion. And third, take inspired action. Faith is not idle dreaming, it's movement. When you act in harmony with your vision, unseen forces begin to assist you. People, opportunities, and ideas will appear as though summoned by invisible hands. This is not coincidence, it is law. But perhaps the most vital element of all is gratitude. Gratitude turns your focus toward abundance. It says to the universe, I am ready for more. The grateful mind is always magnetized toward increase. So begin and end each day with thankfulness for what you have and for what's on its way. Thoughts are magnetic forces that shape your external world. Every moment of the day, whether you're aware of it or not, your mind is broadcasting a signal, a steady, invisible current of energy that moves outward and interacts with everything around you. Each thought carries its own frequency, and like a magnet, it attracts to itself the conditions that match its vibration. This is not philosophy or mere speculation. It is one of the most profound truths of life. What you hold in your mind, you hold in your experience. The world outside is nothing more than a mirror reflecting the world within. If your inner world is filled with doubt, resentment, and fear, your outer world must faithfully reproduce those conditions. But if your thoughts are dominated by confidence, purpose, and gratitude, then life will unfold in harmony with those higher vibrations. You can test this law for yourself. Observe how your day changes when you deliberately shift your thoughts from complaint to appreciation, from worry to expectancy, from confusion to clarity. The moment your thinking changes, your energy changes. People respond differently. Circumstances seem to bend slightly in your favor. What you once called luck or coincidence begins to look more like cause and effect. Every achievement, every failure, every turn in the road begins first as a thought in the mind. The person who learns to control his thinking becomes the master of his fate, while the one who drifts from one random idea to another lives at the mercy of chance and circumstance. It's important to understand that thoughts are not idle wisps of imagination. They are forces alive and active, shaping the unseen fabric of your future. The great men and women of history, those who built nations, created industries, and changed the course of civilization, were not necessarily stronger, richer, or luckier than others. They simply understood how to hold a single idea in their minds with unwavering faith until that idea drew to them all it required for its fulfillment. The thought became the cause, and the world conformed to it as the effect. You are doing the same thing every day, whether you realize it or not. You attract what you think about. You create what you focus upon. The only difference between the dreamer and the doer is that one's thoughts are scattered and fleeting, while the others are directed and disciplined. If you wish to know the quality of your future, look closely at the quality of your present thoughts. They are the architects designing the blueprint of your tomorrow. Guard them well, for they are building the house in which you will one day live. Every success, every advancement, every beautiful experience begins with a single constructive thought held with conviction. When a man realizes that his mind is the magnet shaping his destiny, he ceases to blame circumstances and begins to shape them through deliberate thinking. The human mind is far more than a vessel of thought. It is both a broadcasting and receiving station for vibrations of energy. Each idea, each emotion, each belief we hold emits a signal that moves outward, unseen yet unmistakably real, touching everything and everyone within its reach. Just as a radio transmitter sends out waves that can be picked up only by a receiver tuned to the same frequency, so too does the mind project its dominant vibration into the universe, attracting back the conditions, people, and experiences that match it perfectly. You are continually sending out the frequency of your inner state, and the world around you responds in kind. Every thought you dwell upon, every feeling you nurture, becomes part of the signal you broadcast. When you think confidently, with faith and gratitude, your mind vibrates on a high frequency, drawing to you events and opportunities that harmonize with that positive current. But when you send out signals of fear, self-doubt, and resentment, the same law applies. You receive back more of the same. The universe, impartial and exact, simply echoes the energy you send. This is why a person can never rise above his own habitual thought patterns. The law is consistent, unwavering, and perfectly fair. You can witness this principle in the people you meet. There are those whose very presence seems to lift the room. They radiate calm assurance, and opportunities appear to orbit them. Then there are others whose energy seems heavy, burdened, and uncertain. Misfortune appears to follow them wherever they go. These two types of people are not separated by chance or destiny, but by vibration. One has learned to tune his mental station to harmony, while the other allows his to drift towards static and interference. The quality of what we receive always matches the quality of what we send. The great secret lies in learning to control this transmission consciously. Begin by choosing the thoughts you wish to broadcast. If you wish to attract kindness, think kindly. If you desire abundance, think abundantly. If you long for peace, dwell on thoughts of serenity and gratitude. Your mind will then emit a steady signal that seeks its match, and the universe will respond in ways that often appear miraculous. But these are not miracles, they are natural consequences of law operating as surely as the law of gravity. Every prayer, every affirmation, every vision of success you hold is a transmission sent into the unseen field of possibility. And as surely as the echo returns to the voice that called, the vibration you send forth returns multiplied. When you understand that your thoughts and emotions are not confined within you but broadcast through you, you begin to take responsibility for what you project. You begin to tune your station deliberately, adjusting your mental frequency toward the life you truly desire, and the signal you send becomes the signal you live. What you consistently think about, you attract into your life. The mind is a magnet, and its pull is determined by the nature of your dominant thoughts. Whatever occupies your mental landscape, whether noble or negative, soon becomes your experience. Most people wander through life unaware of this quiet but unfailing law. They think carelessly, allowing their minds to dwell on fear, limitation, and complaint, and then they wonder why life seems to hand them more of the same. But the truth is simple and inescapable. We draw to ourselves the very things we habitually think about. The world we see outside is merely a reflection of the world we have cultivated within. A person who continually thinks of success, service, and progress sets into motion forces that align with those very ideas. His thoughts act like seeds dropped into the fertile soil of the subconscious mind, and in time, the harvest must appear in his circumstances. Likewise, the individual who thinks constantly of failure, hardship, or lack sows seeds of that kind and inevitably reaps their fruit. Life is not a matter of chance but of choice in thought. Every condition of life begins with a mental pattern that is fed daily by repetition and emotion until it hardens into form. We become living magnets for the things we truly expect, not what we merely wish for. A wish is a fleeting thought without energy, an expectation is a belief charged with emotion. The man who expects good to come his way walks differently, speaks differently, and carries a vibration that quietly announces his belief. People sense it, opportunities are drawn to it, and events begin to shape themselves around it. He may not understand the mechanism, but the law is always at work, faithfully reproducing in the outer world what he holds in the inner. The tragedy is that most people use this same law against themselves. They dwell on what they fear instead of what they desire. They imagine worst-case scenarios, rehearse past failures, and speak words of limitation. Then, when those very conditions appear, they call it bad luck, not realizing they have been sending out a steady signal for its arrival. The universe does not discriminate between positive and negative thought. It simply returns what is broadcast with precision. You cannot plant weeds and expect a rose garden, and you cannot think defeat and expect victory. If one truly wishes to change his life, he must begin by changing his habitual thoughts. It requires awareness and discipline to turn the mind from fear to faith, from doubt to confidence, from complaint to gratitude. But the effort is worth everything, for when you hold your thoughts steadily on what you truly want, life begins to organize itself around that picture. The people, the opportunities, and the circumstances you need begin to appear as though summoned by an unseen hand, each one a reflection of what you have been thinking all along. Emotions give power to your thoughts. They are the fuel behind attraction. A thought by itself is like a spark. Emotion is the breath that turns that spark into flame. Without emotion, a thought is a mere shadow, a faint impression that fades as quickly as it comes. But when a thought is charged with feeling, when it is felt deeply, believed sincerely, and held consistently, it becomes magnetic. It vibrates with life, carrying a force that reaches far beyond the walls of your mind. Every great achievement, every dream brought to reality, was once a thought that burned with emotion in the heart of its creator. The mind is the architect, but emotion is the builder. When you think about your desires, it is the feeling of joy, anticipation, and gratitude that sets the law of attraction into motion. The emotion you attach to a thought determines the strength of the signal you send out. That is why casual wishing rarely changes a life. A wish lacks the depth of conviction that emotion provides. But when you think of your goal and feel it in your bones, when you can taste it, see it, live it in imagination as though it were already true, you set into motion unseen forces that begin to arrange your world accordingly. The mind, moved by emotion, becomes creative and commanding. Emotion also acts as the compass of your attraction. It tells you whether you are in harmony or out of harmony with your desires. Positive emotions, love, gratitude, enthusiasm, faith, vibrate in harmony with abundance, health, and success. Negative emotions, fear, anger, envy, and doubt, vibrate in discord with those same conditions. The universe responds not to the words you say, but to the emotional energy you emit. You cannot speak of prosperity while feeling poor inside and expect wealth to flow toward you. You cannot talk of peace while harboring resentment and expect calmness to find you. Life gives back the emotion you live most often. This is why gratitude is so powerful. It is an emotion that aligns the mind with abundance. When you feel grateful, you are broadcasting a signal of sufficiency, declaring that life is already rich and full. The more you dwell in that feeling, the more life sends reasons to remain there. Likewise, faith is emotional certainty. The quiet knowing that what you desire is already on its way. It removes the vibration of doubt and replaces it with expectancy, and expectancy attracts. The emotion of fear, on the other hand, is faith inverted. It attracts the very thing it dreads. To master the law of attraction, one must learn not merely to think clearly but to feel deliberately. Choose emotions that lift, not those that drain. Fill your thoughts with gratitude, love, and joyful anticipation. Let your feelings and your thoughts move as one, for when heart and mind are united, they create a current so strong that the universe cannot help but respond in kind. Clarity of purpose directs the mind's magnetic field toward your goals. A mind without a definite aim is like a ship without a rudder, adrift, vulnerable to every passing wind and current. But when a person decides clearly what he wants, when he fixes a single purpose in his mind and holds it there with faith and determination, he aligns his entire mental and emotional energy toward that end. Clarity becomes the focusing lens through which the power of thought is concentrated, and what was once scattered and weak becomes sharp, deliberate, and irresistible. The law of attraction does not respond to confusion, it responds to precision. Life cannot deliver to you what you have not first defined. Most people spend their days thinking vaguely. They hope for improvement, wish for success, or dream of happiness, but they never specify what those words mean to them. They are like archers shooting arrows into the air with no target to hit. Then they wonder why their results are uncertain, why their progress is slow, and why life feels like a series of unrelated events. Yet the moment an individual sets a definite objective, even a modest one, the fog begins to lift. Circumstances start to arrange themselves around that idea. People appear, opportunities unfold. The invisible gears of life begin to move in harmony with the clear direction of the mind. Clarity not only attracts, it organizes, it gives structure to thought, priority to action, and meaning to effort. When you know exactly what you want, every choice becomes simpler. The mind, freed from uncertainty, begins to work creatively and efficiently. It notices possibilities it once ignored. It draws on resources of intuition and intelligence that remain dormant in the undecided. The person with clarity radiates a calm assurance that others instinctively trust, for he knows where he is going. Even setbacks become stepping stones because a clear goal transforms obstacles into instruction. You can prove this in your own experience. Take any goal, personal, financial, or spiritual, and write it down in clear, specific language. Describe it as though it already exists. Then hold that picture in your mind each day, not as a passing wish, but as a decision already made. Feel it, believe it, and let your thoughts, words, and actions harmonize with it. The mind will begin to attract the means for its realization. You will find ideas coming to you unexpectedly, people crossing your path who can help, and circumstances that seem to arrange themselves for your advantage. Clarity of purpose is power. It transforms thought from idle motion into directed energy. It is the difference between a wandering current and a laser beam. The person who knows what he wants and keeps his mind fixed upon it becomes a living magnet for its fulfillment. The universe bends to the strength of a focused mind, and all things begin to move toward the man who moves with clear intent. Gratitude amplifies attraction and aligns you with abundance. It is one of the most powerful emotions a human being can cultivate, for it tunes the mind to the frequency of receiving. When you are grateful, you declare to the universe that you already have enough, that life has treated you kindly, and that more of its goodness is always welcome. Gratitude changes the vibration of the mind instantly. It dissolves fear, quiets anxiety, and opens the heart to possibility. In gratitude, we shift from wanting to welcoming, from struggle to serenity, from lack to abundance. It is the key that turns the lock of every form of progress. Most people wait until they receive before they give thanks, but that is not how the law of attraction works. Gratitude must come first. When you begin to thank life for what you already have, you activate the law of increase. The act of gratitude itself multiplies blessings. A person who looks around and finds something to appreciate is sending out a signal of abundance, and the universe responds by giving more to appreciate. The ungrateful, on the other hand, emit a signal of dissatisfaction, and life answers with conditions that match their complaint. What we continually feel becomes what we continually live. Gratitude transforms the present moment into fertile ground for future good. The most successful individuals in every field share this attitude of appreciation. They give thanks not only for what is visible, but also for what is yet unseen. They are grateful in advance, knowing that gratitude is faith in motion. To thank life for what has not yet arrived is to affirm that it already exists in potential form, and by that acknowledgement, we draw it closer. It is impossible to be deeply grateful and simultaneously fearful or envious. The two vibrations cannot occupy the same mind. Gratitude and negativity repel each other, and one always drives the other away. Make gratitude a habit as natural as breathing. Each morning, before the mind fills with its usual concerns, pause and name 3 things you are thankful for. They need not be grand or distant. Simple things suffice: the warmth of sunlight, the breath in your lungs, the chance to begin again. As you cultivate this feeling, it will expand and color every part of your experience. You will notice that people respond more kindly, that solutions appear where before there were only problems, that life itself seems to cooperate with your progress. Gratitude does not change the outer world first, it changes you, and then the outer world follows. The grateful mind is a magnet for good. It attracts with quiet power, without strain or struggle. When you live in gratitude, you declare harmony with the infinite supply that sustains all creation. The universe hears that declaration and echoes it back in multiplied form, for to the thankful heart more is always given. Doubt and fear neutralize the frequency of positive attraction. They are the great thieves of human potential, silent destroyers of faith, and the unseen barriers that stand between a man and his highest possibilities. Whenever doubt enters the mind, it interrupts the steady current of belief. It scatters thought, weakens conviction, and disturbs the calm certainty necessary for the law of attraction to work. Fear does the same, only more insidiously. It paints false pictures of failure and loss, convincing the mind to abandon its purpose before success has a chance to appear. Together, they create mental interference, a kind of static that drowns out the clear broadcast of confident thought. No matter how noble or powerful your goal, if it is sent forth on a frequency mixed with fear or doubt, it loses its strength and its reach. The universe responds not to what we say we want, but to what we truly believe. When you affirm a goal with your lips but doubt it in your heart, you send 2 opposing signals, and they cancel each other out. It is like trying to move forward while pressing the brakes at the same time. Progress becomes slow, frustrating, and uncertain. Yet when belief is pure, undivided, and steady, the results seem almost miraculous. The power that flows from an unwavering mind can move mountains, but even the smallest whisper of fear can dissolve it. The law of attraction amplifies whatever vibration dominates, and fear, when left unchecked, becomes dominant far too easily. Faith and fear are both forms of belief, one in success, the other in failure. Both summon evidence to support themselves. The man who believes he can will find reasons and resources that prove him right. The one who fears he cannot will find obstacles and excuses to confirm his doubt. The difference lies only in the direction of belief. You cannot entertain both at once. The mind must choose its master. When you notice fear arising, do not wrestle with it, replace it. Direct your thoughts deliberately toward confidence and assurance. Remind yourself that every great achievement began with uncertainty, and that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Confidence grows through repetition. Each time you choose faith over fear, you strengthen a mental muscle. Each time you persist when the voice of doubt whispers retreat, you tune your frequency a little higher. Eventually, belief becomes natural and fear loses its hold. This is why persistence is so vital. It keeps the signal alive long enough for results to appear. Most people give up too soon, believing the law does not work, when in truth their fear has simply interfered with its operation. The moment you remove doubt and replace it with quiet, confident expectation, the current of attraction flows freely again, drawing to you the people, ideas, and circumstances that match your renewed belief. Visualization turns intangible dreams into mental blueprints for reality. Every great creation in history existed first as an image in the mind of someone who dared to see it before it was visible. The human imagination is not a toy or a passing fancy. It is a workshop of power, a tool through which thought takes form. When you visualize with clarity and emotion, you are impressing upon your subconscious mind the exact pattern of what you wish to experience. That pattern becomes a magnetic force, drawing to you the ideas, people, and circumstances that will bring it into physical existence. The clearer and more vivid your mental image, the stronger the attraction it generates. The mind cannot distinguish between an image vividly imagined and one physically seen. Both create the same impression upon the nervous system and the subconscious. When you repeatedly hold a picture of your desired outcome, you begin to think, act, and feel in harmony with it. You attract conditions that align with that inner picture. This is why champions rehearse their success long before it happens, why inventors see their creations working before the first piece is built, why leaders envision the end from the beginning. They understand that the outer world always conforms to the image held steadily in the inner. Most people use the power of visualization unconsciously, often to their own detriment. They imagine failure, disappointment, and loss so vividly that these very conditions are drawn to them. They replay old mistakes, relive painful experiences, and picture future troubles as though they were inevitable. The subconscious accepts these pictures without judgment, for it does not reason. It simply obeys. It acts upon whatever image it is most often given. That is why it is essential to choose your mental pictures deliberately and feed them with positive emotion. To visualize effectively, see yourself already in possession of your goal. Imagine the details as if they were happening now. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace of mind that accompanies your success. The more real the experience becomes in your inner world, the more quickly it will manifest in the outer. Do not force the image, allow it to form naturally, like a scene unfolding in your imagination. Revisit it daily, especially in moments of quiet before sleep or upon waking, when the mind is most receptive. Over time, you will notice ideas coming to you unbidden, actions presenting themselves naturally, and coincidences arranging themselves in your favor. Visualization is the bridge between thought and reality. It transforms a desire into direction, an intention into instruction for the subconscious mind. Every time you visualize, you are building the structure of your future in invisible form. Hold that image long enough, nourish it with faith and gratitude, and the unseen becomes seen. The world you live in tomorrow is being designed right now, in the pictures you choose to hold in your mind today. The law of attraction responds to action. Faith must walk, not wait. Thought alone is powerful, but without movement it remains potential energy like a seed left unplanted. The universe favors the man who acts upon his belief. When you take a step toward your goal, however small, you set in motion unseen forces that respond to your initiative. Action is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between intention and manifestation. It tells the world that you are serious about what you desire, that your faith is not mere wishful thinking but a living conviction. Each act, each effort, no matter how simple, sends a signal of purpose that draws matching results from the world around you. Far too many people believe that by thinking positively, success will fall into their laps. They forget that the law operates through both thought and motion. A thought gives direction, but action gives momentum. The mind creates the blueprint, but the hands build the structure. The individual who understands this moves with quiet confidence. He does not wait for perfect conditions, for he knows that action itself creates them. Once he begins, doors open, opportunities appear, and assistance arrives in unexpected forms. The law of attraction amplifies effort. It multiplies the results of a mind in motion. There is a curious thing about inspired action. It rarely feels forced. When your vision is clear and your belief firm, action arises naturally. You find yourself doing what needs to be done almost instinctively. This is the difference between struggle and flow. The man who acts without faith pushes against resistance. The man who acts with faith is carried by it. The very act of moving forward, even slightly, strengthens belief. It builds confidence, sharpens purpose, and aligns you more closely with the outcome you seek. Inaction, on the other hand, feeds fear. Every moment spent hesitating tells the subconscious mind that your desire is uncertain, and so it withholds its full power. Action is not always grand or dramatic. Sometimes it is as simple as a phone call, a letter, a plan written on paper, or an hour spent in study. What matters is that you move in the direction of your purpose. The smallest motion carries more power than the greatest intention left undone. Once you act, the universe begins to act with you, arranging events and opportunities to meet your step. Faith, when translated into motion, becomes a living force. It turns thought into fact, dream into experience, and intention into reality. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the architect of it. The world you experience is not built by chance, nor is it governed by luck. It is shaped, molded, and colored by the thoughts you hold, the choices you make, and the beliefs you accept as true. Every event, every person, every opportunity that crosses your path is drawn by the silent magnet of your inner state. Circumstances are not causes, they are effects. They reflect what you have been thinking, feeling, and expecting deep within yourself. Once this truth is understood, a man ceases to live reactively. He no longer blames the world for what he encounters. He begins to shape the world through the power of his own direction. To believe that life happens to you is to surrender your creative authority. It is to hand your power to luck, fate, or other people, and to live as a passenger rather than the pilot of your destiny. But to recognize that your mind is the source of your experience is to step into mastery. The thoughts you allow to dominate your mind today will appear as the circumstances of your tomorrow. If you think poverty, you prepare for lack. If you think abundance, you prepare for opportunity. The law makes no exception and no mistake. It mirrors perfectly what it receives. There is tremendous freedom in this realization, for it means that at any moment you can begin anew. By changing the pattern of your thoughts, you begin to alter the pattern of your life. When you choose confidence over doubt, gratitude over complaint, faith over fear, the very texture of your experience begins to shift. You start to notice harmony where once there was confusion, order where there was disorder, progress where there was stagnation. The outer world bends to the will of the inner. Great men and women throughout history have understood this and used it deliberately. They refused to be victims of circumstance. They became creators of it. They held within their minds the image of the life they desired and acted each day in harmony with that image until the world reshaped itself accordingly. The same power lies in you. You are the builder, and thought is your tool. Whatever form your life takes, it was first designed in the quiet architecture of your own mind. Every man and woman holds within their mind the quiet power that shapes their destiny. The law of attraction is not a secret known to a chosen few. It is a law of life, as certain and impartial as gravity itself. It responds not to luck, not to chance, but to the steady vibration of thought, feeling, and action. You attract what you think about most, and the universe mirrors back the image you hold within. When your thoughts are clear, your emotions charged with gratitude, and your faith translated into action, you begin to live in harmony with the very forces that create worlds. Success, happiness, abundance, these are not accidents, they are outcomes of understanding and applying this law with purpose. You are the magnet, the transmitter, and the receiver. Your mind is the broadcasting station of your future. Guard it well, for it is sending signals every hour of every day. Let those signals be of confidence, love, and faith in your boundless potential. Life responds to the one who knows where he is going, who believes in his vision, and who moves toward it with calm assurance. The greatest discovery any person can make is that he is not a creature of circumstance, but its creator. You are not waiting for opportunity. You are attracting it. You are not seeking miracles. You are generating them. Every thought you think, every feeling you nurture, every step you take, becomes part of the pattern that designs your life. So begin today, this very moment, to think deliberately, to feel deeply, and to act boldly toward the life you desire. Expect good, and it will come. Give thanks before you receive, and you will receive more. Believe, and the universe will conspire in your favor. The power is already yours. Use it wisely, and watch as your world transforms in the precise image of your most dominant thought.